Okay, guys, let me know if this is a lot more stable than what we were doing before with OBS. Obviously, we're not gonna have obviously we're not gonna have like all the fancy graphics or anything like that, but hopefully this will be a lot more stable, so that way we can actually chat. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? See, it even looks a little bit more clearer too. Actually, is there a way to change? Huh. Guess not. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Down in the Valley podcast. My name is Edson Ochoa, as you all probably know. Like I said, I apologize for what's going on with OBS at the moment. I'm not sure why my bandwidth has been kind of spiking all over the place, causing lag and delays in my original live stream. Fortunately, we really didn't get that far along, talking about all of the news that have been going on with RGV FC. But guys, be sure once again, help me take this new link and share with everybody, all of the Toros fans. That I know there were a lot of people that were watching a little while ago, but let them know once again, so that way we can start talking, as a fan base, and talk about all of what's been going on with RGV FC. So let's get D the Demon, let's get Abraham, let's get Costless, let's get Mike and Harry, let's get all of them back in action here to talk all about the Toros. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and talk. Right. So as I was talking in the last actual live stream, excuse me, the outlook for the Toros that we, or at least the fans in general, had for the Toros since the last time that we were live was pretty negative, to be honest. Honestly, we had the idea that Juan Galindres was going to come to the Rio Grande Valley. He was dealing with visa issues. Looks like he finally got those settled, finally came over to the United States, and actually presented himself to Wilmer Cabrera and get ready to play. We also got, obviously, Frank Lopez back. That, we got a couple of players back from injuries. However, we also had some players that got injured. In the Miami game. Well, we did have Jonathan Ricketts that was out for a couple of games due to injury. I know he got himself injured right before the match against the Tampa Bay Rowdies. We lost Ricky Reese in the match against the Miami FC. We also lost Juan David Cabezas and Gringo Torres. So those were like pretty much four key players that we were missing. Now, you go into the situation there where you also, for some weird reason, have Tyler Derrick on the bench. Officially, we were told it has nothing to do with an injury. But Wilmer Cabrera said it has nothing to do with an injury. It's all about, I wanted to give Carlos Merancio an opportunity to be able to um, showcase his talents and see what he's made of, right? And honestly, with Carlos Merancio, I know at first I was like, let's give him an opportunity, some minutes to showcase himself. I know a lot of people weren't really happy about his performance in the first match. I said, give him some time. I want to see more out of him, see more minutes. Maybe he gets better. Maybe it's just, the nervousness on the first match. But as time went on, it became apparent that Carlos Merancio just was not cutting it as the main goalkeeper for RGV FC. And so, we had some negative results. You had, people frustrated that he was not a good shot stopper or anything like that, or just in general, yeah, he wasn't giving confidence back in the goal. Right. So now, since that point, like I said, talking against the game against Orange County SC, the last time we faced them off, which was the Championship Stadium, to now, RGVSC has really gone on the up and up, really has improved in a lot of aspects. So, for example, you know, after after during our hiatus, they drew 3-3 to the Miami FC. That was a game where Carlos Merancio was playing. Then they drew 2-2 on the road to New Mexico United. That was another game where Carlos Merancio was playing. And in those games, I was like, man, Merancio, like, yeah, I feel like if Tyler Derrick was in those games, I feel like we probably would have gotten a better results out of those, right? And it got to a point where I was like, hey, Wilmer, like, if this whole thing really was about seeing if Merancio had what it takes to be the starting goalkeeper, I think we've seen enough out of him, and that we know that, he's not the good start. He's not good enough to be the starting goalkeeper over Tyler Derrick, right? So then the next game after that against Colorado Springs Switchbacks, well, you get Tyler Derrick back on goal. So what happens there? Well, we win 1-0. We get a clean sheet out of that. You get the leadership back from Tyler Derrick. You get some of the players back in a positive mentality. You saw Eric Pimentel give the game of his life, against Colorado Springs Switchbacks, and the Toros held it down, and they got a win by the minimum, but they got to win, and that's the only thing that was important for RGV. At this point, it didn't matter if they played beautifully, if they played ugly. The forms didn't matter. All we cared about was getting a positive result, getting 3 points, especially at home, where up to that point it was very difficult to get a positive result, or a win, to be specific, right? So one of the reactions from that game, after the Colorado Springs Switchbacks, I believe this was Tyler Derrick who declared it in the post-game press conferences. And by the way, if you guys want to see the videos of those press conferences, be sure to check out South Texas Border Sports on YouTube, and you'll be able to see them there. The complete the complete post-game press conferences. So one of the things that Tyler Derrick said was everyone was feeling that pressure to get that off of our backs. Everyone in the locker room is so happy that we earned the result today. Now, going a little bit further with that, after the game, I didn't stay for press conferences. I was just too tired to, woke up at 5 a.m, go to the gym, 10-hour workday. By the end of the game, I was beat. So I didn't stay for the post-game press conference. I needed to go to sleep. But right after the game, I talked to one of the players, and I obviously congratulated them for the win. We were talking. And one of the things that he mentioned was that after the New Mexico match, where they drew 2-2, the game before, the team held a powwow. They held a informal team meeting where their focus was to get rid of all the negative pressure that they had, on their backs, to let it go, because they felt that it was really plaguing the team Obviously, he was talking also as well that, tactically, uh, RGV had no choice but to kind of sit back and kind of give the ball to Colorado Springs, because they knew that if they pushed up like they usually do, well, Colorado Springs would kill them with the long balls and the speed of a lot of their players. So they played it. They played that game really, really smart. To be honest, they were able to get the win. Hey, what's up, Mike? They were able to get the win against Colorado Springs Switchbacks. I think from that point on, the tide started to turn for RGV. I think a lot of more the fans were starting to be a little bit more positive. They were starting to see this team gel a whole lot better defensively. We always talked about in the last couple of episodes before how the so apparently the USA is losing right now. They are, let me see, check it out. Oh, it's still 0-0. No, 0-1. 100th minute, Panama 1, USA 0. Ooh, like I mentioned, if the USA loses today, would that be considered a failure on on the federation? But anyway, where I was getting at, defensively, RGV FC was in shambles. You lost Jonathan Ricketts, Wilmer Cabrera, having to improvise with Frank Nodarse as an outside back. And I repeated many, many times, Nodarse is not an outside back. We can't expect Nodarse to fulfill the responsibilities that Jonathan Ricketts carries, not only defensively, but offensively, helping, push the team's offense, and kind of help, whether it's Ricky or Cristiano or Wilmer Jr. that's out on the wing, kind of help him out on the attack. Frank Nodarse, you were not going to see that. So the team suffered there. Eric Pimentel with, a lot of times, making dumb decisions that led to fouls or, goals against or anything like that. It was very, very frustrating defensively. There were obviously you had Merancio, where I guess the defense really didn't have a lot of confidence based on what he was showing, because if the defense was beat, Carlos Merancio really didn't show any confidence for me, at least for me, that he was going to be able to stop it. Right. So defensively, this team was in shambles. Offensively, the team was getting better as far as getting shots on target, and they were starting to score goals, like you said, 3 goals against the Miami FC, 2 goals against New Mexico United. But the problem was that, yes, the offense woke up, but now the defense needed to wake up as well. So you had this whole situation with RGV FC that they really needed to fix. And we know about the capabilities of the defense, because we've had this, for the most part, we've had this defense since last year. Eric Pimentel, Wahabakwe, Frank Nodarse, all of those players have already been with us before, in this team. Jonathan Ricketts, obviously he wasn't there because of his injury, but those are players that were already used to Wilmer Cabrera's defensive system, right? And then all of a sudden it's like, what is going on? So after the game, like they say, against New Mexico, they held the powwow, and they talked. I guess they had like a therapy session or something. I don't know exactly the details of what happened, but whatever they did in that meeting, according to this player that I talked to, it worked, right? Because you go out on the road and you defeat Oakland Roots 2-0. You shock them at their stadium. I don't think anybody thought that RGV was going to beat Oakland Roots at their home, right? But that's exactly what happened. RGV was the better team, and if you guys follow me on Twitter, I know we held a Twitter space where we were talking. It was Shadow Wolf, me, Ray, Costless, and a couple of the people, we were holding that Twitter space and we were talking during that game of what was going on. And honestly, especially in the second half, RGV was the better team compared to Oakland Roots. So really nobody can say that RGV got lucky or anything like that. Especially once Wilmer Cabrera Jr. came into the game, and Frank Lopez as well. It was just very one sided. Uh, it was just very one sided and the better team. Because if you look at it honestly, RGV even defensively was able to limit what Oakland Roots was able to create uh, on their goal. So, and then they go and they held a 1-1 draw against Sacramento Republic on the road. Now, Sacramento Republic was going through some injury issues as well. They didn't have Rodrigo Lopez, which is one of the biggest key players of that roster. I know they were very limited as far as the bench. I want to say they only had like 2 or 3 players on the bench only in that game. And so they were very limited. However, that's not RGVFC's fault. In fact, this is some of the games where RGVFC really needed to take advantage of those circumstances to get as many points as possible. And the fact that they were able to get a draw at Sacramento Republic, I think a lot of people in the USL, just started to just started to actually pay more attention to RGVFC. I know that John Morrissey of USL Tactics was actually, starting to pay closer attention to what was going on with RGVFC, how they were able to limit Sacramento Republic defensively, how they were able to, generate some opportunities offensively. They weren't getting a lot of results. It had to be a last minute wonder shot from Taylor Davila to be able to get the equalizing goal. So looks like USA just tied it. Jesus Ferreira in the 105th minute ties the game for the USA against Panama. So Zuffalo from Twitch says it was pure luck. Like I said, I don't believe it was luck. They were the better team against Oakland Roots. Mike says that Francois should not be starting anymore. Oh, tell me about it. How do I display it? I know there's a way because sorry. Oops. Is everybody there? Okay. Oh, here we go. Mike says Francois should not be starting. I agree, honestly, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that eventually. Hopefully, when Jacob actually hops on. But yeah, I do agree, Francois. Even data wise, even statistics wise, you really have to question why is Francois starting. Like, we'll talk about the stats from this past game against Orange County SC, but yeah, he really does not look good out there. He doesn't pass the eye test. He doesn't pass, obviously, the statistics test either, which is why I question why John Morrissey is so hot on Cristiano Francois. Like, really? So my dad says, how about if Francois starting the game as a strategy by Profe Cabrera to wear out the defense and Lettergate Jr. and Frank Lopez in the pitch? That's what I'm thinking. Honestly, I am. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe that's what Wilmer Cabrera wants him, because he is a very strong, I guess you can say, fast player out there. Play physical in the first half, wear them out, and then in the second half get somebody that's nimble like Wilmer Cabrera Jr. and of course Frank Lopez, and have them wreak havoc on a tired defense. But oh man, it's like sometimes I feel like, man, if you have Frank starting as a true striker, in place of Francois, I think this team could be so much better. Like I said, Francois really doesn't generate chances created, much less shots. He's only made 2 goals, so he's really down, like he's really down there. But somehow he's key in Wilmer Cabrera's system. At this point, honestly, if it works, I guess we should be happy. I mean, because it's working. We right now we're getting points. But I do feel like if we change that little piece, this team could be so much better. I think it could probably generate more. Maybe Juan Galindres. I don't know how his recovery is uh, so far this season. If he's trying to gain match fitness, because he has been working out over there in Colombia. He had been playing 7-on-7. We had been playing, some pickup soccer here and there. So it wasn't that he was 100% out of shape like I am. But obviously, it's not. Playing 7-on-7 is clearly not the same thing as playing 11-by-11. So maybe, hopefully, we can see Juan Galindres replacing Cristiano Francois as that starting striker. Because yeah, he's not convincing for me at all. Mike says, Javier, I agree. He does get the team tired, and it helps our backups come in fresh. So yeah. Hey, Costless, how's it going, man? Good to have you. Good to have you here. Like I said, we're kind of waiting on the U.S. National team game to end. I know Jacob said that his focus was on club first or country rather than club first. I don't really agree with that, but it is what it is. Hopefully he can come back soon. Abraham says Francois has speed but can't score. I feel bad because we're like harping and like we're just piling up on Francois in these last couple of minutes. But I mean, I guess it's a talk of the fan base, right? So one of the things, actually, let me pull it up right now. Let me pull it up because we're talking about offensive power, right? Francois can't. He says Francois can't has speed but can't score, and then he continues, even with an open net face palm. So okay, let's take a look at that because I did prepare some graphics as far as the offensive performance. Hopefully, okay. So this graphic right here. This is the performance of the 3 strikers since we last, or when we last saw each other. I posted this graphic. This was on week 9 of the USL Championship. At that point, Wilmer Jr. had 9 appearances, 12 total shots, 8 chances created. 7 of those shots were on target and 1 goal. You look at Cristiano Francois, 9 appearances as well, 13 total shots, 12 chances created. 5 of the shots were on target and 2 goals. Ricky Reese, 9 appearances, 14 total shots, 12 chances created. 8 of those 14 shots on target and 2 goals. Okay, that was week 9. Now let's go to after the game, this past game against Orange County SC. 18 appearances from Wilmer Jr., 29 total shots, 17 chances created, 18 on target, 5 goals. Okay. Cristiano Francois, 18 total appearances, 26 total shots, 19 chances created, 11 of those shots were on target, 2 goals. He has not scored since. And as Abraham mentioned, he's had some sitters, like in the game against Oakland, that he didn't put away. Ricky Reese, keep in mind, he was out for injury in some of these matches and has been coming in off of the bench as well for a couple of minutes. So he doesn't have as much minutes as either Wilmer or Cristiano Francois. So 16 appearances, 20 total shots, 16 chances created. 13 of those shots have been on target, 2 goals. Okay. Now let's do the, remember, Cristiano Francois' numbers. He went from 13 total shots to 26 in 9 games, okay? Went from 12 chances created to 19, 5 on target to 11 on target, but he hasn't scored since, okay? So obviously you can say that Wilmer Jr. has been the most improved player off of this squad, especially out on the attack. So I think he has been very important, whether it's been coming off of the bench or playing as a starter. To me, honestly, off of the bench, he has made the most impact, like he did against Oakland Roots. He is actually, and I think he's one of the best when it comes to duels won. I think in RGV FC's complete roster, you know. So there's that. Yeah, Cristiano Francois. I'm not really high on him, and I know a lot of you fans are not really high on him either. But if it works, and there's nobody that's 100% ready to, fill his role in the tactics, then I guess you might as well just continue to let Wilmer Cabrera cook, as the young people say. So let's look back in the chat. ¿Cómo se llama? Dice, my dad says, ¿cómo se llamaba ese jugador de Tigres que solo corría y nunca envió un buen centro? Jürgen Damm. I think that's what you're talking about. Jürgen Damm. Mike says, in Oakland, Francois could have made the game 4-0, but can't score. Yeah. Unfortunately, it is what it is, and we're just beating a dead horse when it comes to Cristiano Francois. But like I said, if it's working right now, I don't want to make I don't want to make as many changes right now that will disrupt the whole system. And it says, just like any football, I can't score with him. Well, I mean, it is what it is. Here I am just drinking my water. So anyway, so now let's talk about specifically what happened last Sunday between RGV FC and Orange County SC. Okay. Now, originally, this game was supposed to be played on Saturday. Okay. Saturday at 7 p.m. However, it was announced that Orange County SC was having some logistics issues with their travel, and they couldn't make it in time to the game, so the game had to be postponed for the next day, which was Sunday. Now, according to our friends at the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, good friends of ours, who, by the way, I was actually on their show last week in the preview for this game against Orange County SC. Had a lot of fun, with them. So if you guys haven't seen that episode, be sure to check it out. If you want to skip over to when we actually start talking about the game, you can go ahead and do so as well. But according to the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, their informant said that their flight out of California that was supposed to be last Friday was massively delayed to the point of cancellation. And the team did not fly out to Texas until 4 a.m. local time on Saturday. So when that happened, obviously, let's assume you get there, an hour and a half or 2 hours. Well, actually, 2 hours and a half or 3 hours, maybe, a flight from Orange County to, let's say, Dallas, because I think it's usually either Dallas or Houston where the teams make a stop at before actually taking the connecting flight over to McAllen. So you've got a 2 hour and a half or 3 hour flight to Houston or Dallas, right? If it's Houston, you add 45 minutes of flight from Houston to McAllen. I want to say it's like an hour from Dallas to McAllen, right? So all of that. So you've got if they left at 4 a.m. at their time, that translates to 6 a.m. our time, Central Time. So if they left at 6 a.m. and it's a 2.5, 3 hour flight, let's say 3 hour flight to Dallas or Houston, you're talking about they got there at 9 a.m. And then let's say an hour to run that connecting flight, and that is if that flight was immediately after. As soon as they got there, they boarded their flight over to McAllen, because obviously there's probably going to be a layover of an hour, 2 hours, but let's take into account, let's say that it was an immediate flight right after the connecting flight, and then they flew over here to McAllen. So if we're saying it was 6 when it's to 9 in the morning, then all of a sudden for 9, let's say an hour, so that's 10 in the morning, the earliest that they made it here to McAllen, Texas. So they had 12 hours to rest, to eat, to prepare for the game, to travel. I'm pretty sure they did not have a good night's sleep either, So there's that whole situation that happened. And guys, remember that last year, RGV had a similar situation when they traveled to Charleston. Remember, right? The difference is that neither Charleston nor the USL allowed this game to be postponed to the next day. RGV was forced to arrive at 4 or 5 in the morning local time to Charleston, sleep a couple of, go all the way to the hotel, eat, try to catch up on some sleep if they even could. And then they had to play that same day, that same night against Charleston Battery. And they still got the 3 points, if you guys remember correctly. Why am I saying this? I'm not saying because, OCAC shouldn't complain about it because we had it worse and we still got it done. No, I'm saying this because I'm actually happy that RGV and and the USL actually agreed to postpone the match to the next day for the safety of the players, right? So I applaud the decision from RGV and the USL to delay the match. I know a lot of people weren't happy that the match was postponed to the next day. A lot of people already had plans, and now everything got to be changed. I understand that, but from a player safety perspective, it was the best decision that I think they could have made for the safety of the players. And let's be honest. With better rest, you're always going to get a better entertainment, a better performance out of the players, which leads to, like I said, to better entertainment for the fans that are going to be either watching it on ESPN Plus or at the stadium watching it live, right? So that was the situation that happened with Orange County SC last week, according to the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, which, like I mentioned, is the one of the podcasts that covers Orange County SC. So anyway, so that's pretty much what happened. So anyway, the game gets postponed to the next day, and I think 7 as well. So the starting 11 for the Toros was Tyler Derrick on goal, a line of 5 with Jonathan Ricketts, Wahab Akwe, Frank Nodarse, Eric Pimentel, and Tomas Ritondale. Now, Tomas Ritondale has been a player that I have been very, very high on because I feel like he fills the role of trying to help out on the attack, right? You don't necessarily, because he's a wing back, you don't necessarily have to have him do a lot of defensive duties. He can help, obviously, but I think in my eyes, in my interpretation of Wilmer's tactics, Tomás Ritondale is a player that is going to focus more on trying to help out Wilmer Jr. or whoever's out there on the left wing to go help out on the attack. And he has done that, at least that role. He has filled it well, despite such a young age and him coming in from a lower division. All right. So, ¿qué onda, Jesus? He says, sending some love over to Edson. Thank you, man. I appreciate your love and your support. Abraham Moreno regarding the situation with Orange County, immediate flight, wishful thinking. Yeah, well, it's funny because my sister and I actually suffered it wasn't a major delay. It was only like a couple of hours, a 3-hour delay on the return flight from Charlotte to Houston. There's a whole situation going on in Vermont against the crew. Some of the crew, the pilot was from Vermont and because of all the floods, he wasn't able to make it. So that's why the flight was delayed the way it was. But anyway, let's focus on RGV. So I told you, line of 5 Rick Itzakwe, no darse Pimentel, and Ritondale. Okay. In the middle, you had Taylor Davila and Robert Coronado. I like that. I don't know why. I did not expect, and I think I mentioned in the Twitter space, I said Robert Coronado is going to be a player that is going to fill that role, but he's not necessarily going to be better than Juan David Cabezas or Gringo Torres. Right? But now, considering all of these results so far, now you got a question. I guess you can say that it's a good question for Warmer to have. Once Gringo Torres and Juan David Cabezas get better, would you sacrifice Robert Coronado to put in any of those two players? So I leave that question up to you guys. So go ahead and put in the chat. We'll go ahead and discuss if you guys think that you all do believe that that Robert Coronado should stay as a starter despite Gringo or Juan David Cabezas coming back to 100%. Okay, so that was the starting, and then up on top you have Christian Pinzon, Cristiano Francois, and Wilmer Cabrera Jr. Now, in the first half, Orange County was limited to one shot on target. Was it? No. So actually, hold on. I'm looking at my notes here. So forgive me. So in the whole game, throughout the 90 plus minutes of this match, RGVFC's defense limited Orange County to one shot on target out of 10 shots. Why am I making a big deal about this particular statistic? Because Orange County SC has in their ranks a really, really good player that has been the top, if not one of the top players in the Western Conference as far as shots, and that is Milan Ilosky, who at this point leads the Western Conference in, actually he leads the whole USL. He leads the whole USL in shots taken with 54. So you are going up against a team that had a player that was going to be, looking for shots as to put some danger on Tyler Derrick's goal. But the fact that you were able to limit the whole team to just one shot on target, and specifically, if you want to look at Milan Ilosky and the statistics in this game against RGVFC, if you look at the USL website, he was only limited to one shot, and it was off target. So what does that mean? It means that the defense for RGVFC studied Orange County SC really, really well, and they were able, to limit what Milan Ilosky could generate against them. So Abraham says, Ritondale has been surprisingly well beyond what I had expected. He's a player to keep your eyes on. I definitely agree. And he has so much potential like this. Like he is pretty much a diamond in the rough at this moment. If Wilmer Cabrera can fine tune Ritondale's, level and talent, I think he could be a very promising player for the USL Championship. Maybe not with RGVFC, but maybe with another team if they do decide to pay or actually sign him, not necessarily pay. Because so Costless says, now you're asking the uncomfortable question regarding Robert Coronado and Gringo Torres and Juan David Cabezas. But my dad says, if it works, don't fix it. Abraham also agrees with that point. He says, yikes, that goes back to the don't fix it if it's not broken point. And then Costas goes further and says that The 5-2-3 cannot be changed. Honestly, you are correct. I mean, it's working. It's working, so might as well just keep it. Mike says, "Bro, did you all see that play from Wahab when he was in our box and ran down the player? They counted him off size, but damn, what a play from Wahab, dude! Wahab has been on fire lately. Like he has gotten and it all goes back to what we talked about earlier in the episode, which was, they needed to get that pressure off of them, and actually play how they know how to play, you know and Wahab has held it down alongside with Frank Nodarse as a center back. I have to clarify, as a center back, Frank Nodarse, and even Eric Pimentel has getting better. He has limited the amount of mistakes that he's made. I want to dare and say he hasn't made any mistakes so far at all, like for like penalties or dumb yellows or even red cards like he did in the beginning of the season. So I don't know what they did with Eric Pimentel to get him back on track, but hey, it worked. I'm not gonna complain how they did it. If it was shock therapy, I guess that's a little bit extreme. But you know what I mean. Hey, if it works, hey, we really needed something. My dad says, if you have the ideal players for your system, there is no need to change them. Only adjust when the same game obligates you to. I agree with that. But the question is the hierarchy and the experience from Juan David and Gringo Torres, is that going to supersede the fact, like we mentioned, that this team has been doing good? Because you have to remember, we talked about it many times. You also have to deal with the egos with some of these players, especially the veterans. They're not going to like that they're going to be sitting on the bench. You know, um, so you also have to get that into consideration. You know how to handle that. But then unfortunately, it's like, well, if you putting Juan David Cabezas, by the way, I'm sorry, but Juan David Cabezas as a lone defensive midfielder, I don't think he's at an age anymore where that's a good idea. He has not been playing well as a lone center defensive midfield. You need to have somebody alongside him because he's not as fast anymore. He's not as agile anymore. So I think for me, that was one of the weakest points whenever Wilmer Cabrera played him, and it played him as a lone center defensive midfielder. He was always getting beat, So I feel like now with Taylor and Robert Coronado as two midfielders, I think it plays a whole lot better, and I wouldn't want to change that. Now, Gringo Torres, on the other hand, he had been playing well as well. So you kind of have to weigh, and it's like, okay, what do I gain from getting Gringo Torres out on the pitch versus what I have right now with Robert Coronado? So that is going to be a very good dilemma for Wilmer Cabrera to have once if Gringo Torres gets better in the short term. So Mike says El Paso beating San Antonio FC right now. San Antonio is in shambles. Abraham says, anyone else notice they made Puma captain and the team started winning? I did not. I honestly did not look. I didn't even pay attention to that. Is that true? So when they made Puma captain, the team started winning. That is very interesting then. I mean, I don't think that correlation is in fact causation in this aspect. I think there's a lot more things that were more important as to why, or bigger reasons why this team, really improved. But that's a good observation. That might be a certain factor. That with Pumas, I guess he's more aggressive. That is a better fit as a leader for RGV, and now with that responsibility of being the captain, I guess that kind of reins in that, that craziness from Puma that led him to yellows, reds, and PKs called against, and everything like that. Now he has to set the example of the order and all of that. So I mean, that could be. But anyway, as I mentioned, Orange County was limited to one shot on target out of 10 shots. In the first half, Orange County was forced back into the own side, whether it was because they were trying to save energy and not be out in attack because of the jet lag and all of that. Because I know the OCSC cast on Monday they were saying, oh, because of the jet lag and all of that, they looked off and something like that, But at the end of the matter, OCSC was kind of pushed into their own half by RGVFC. RGVFC had a lot more chances on goal than OCE. And if you look closely at those shots that Orange County did have in the first half, three of them were outside the box. Actually, all of them were actually outside the box. Three of them were chips where they were trying to catch Tyler Derrick off of his line, but failed miserably doing so. So in other words, they just didn't have I guess they didn't have the legs to actually try and penetrate and go inside the box. Why? Number one, obviously the tired legs and the jet lag. Number two is because the defensive line from RGVFC did not allow them the liberty to actually be able to penetrate that line, go inside the 18-yard box. So they had to find something from outside the box, whether it's the chips or anything like that. And then the other shot was actually blocked, and it chipped over the goal. That was actually kind of scary, but thankfully the parabola was high enough that it went past the goal line and wasn't any danger to Tyler Derrick's goal. And outside of that, Orange County in the first half did nothing to actually put Tyler Derrick on high alert. But on the flip side, OCS or RGVFC also had a difficult time penetrating Orange County SC's defense. They had four total shots, and three of them were blocked. I need a water break. Thank you, guys. Abraham says they made Puma captain the game that Cabezas and Gringo got injured. Well, yeah, that is true as well. Like I said, correlation does not cause causation, but that is a good observation. My dad says, Javier says, we as fans need results and finally got them, regardless the players on the pitch. Coronado has worked his heart out and deserves to be on the pitch. You know what? At the end of the day, that's basically it. When you get called on by the coach, say, hey, you're going to be starting. You got to take advantage of those opportunities. And Robert Coronado has done that. And we have to be very grateful for Coronado for doing his work and making sure that this team works not only offensively but defensively as well. Like in the game against Orange County SC, like he pretty sacrificed himself on a counter by Orange County, made a tactical foul. He got a yellow, but he did it because had he not done that, the defensive line for RGV was going to get caught off guard. So if you guys see Robert Coronado you guys have to, give him kudos for the work that he's done so far. And then my dad says, I like Gringo and Juan David Cabezas, but this is not their first rodeo when they should know how this business is. At the end of the day, it's whatever makes the team work better. It's not about, what's going to make me as a player look better or, anything like that. It's whoever makes this team work better, that's who gets the start. I don't care if you've been to World Cups. I don't care, if you scored, if you played against Messi. I'm being a little exaggerated, but yeah, you get the point. Whatever player is going to make this team work better, that's who needs to be on the pitch, and you got to give it, and you got to respect the decision from coach about that, because he is pretty much your manager. Okay, so that was the first half. Now in the second half, that is where Orange County SC kind of flipped the switch in the first couple of minutes. In the first minutes of the second half, Orange County looked more aggressive offensively. They actually generated 4 shots in a span of 6 minutes. Then one of them actually forced Tyler Derrick to make a save. The other ones were actually, I guess one of them was all, off target, and I think the others were blocked, but they actually made RGV work in those first 6 minutes. But outside of that, Orange County just wasn't there on the pitch. They weren't able to generate anything. Obviously, as you all know, Wahabakwe scores a goal first in the 69th minute, and then in the 78th, Jonathan Ricketts from a goal from outside the box sends a shot that that Shuttler was unable. He got a touch to it, but I guess he didn't have his hands were not strong enough or to not move back, to not get moved back by the ball. And so the just the power of the shot from Jonathan Ricketts, um, you know, bent the hands back and was able to sneak into the back of the net. And in the end, RGVFC wins the game 2-0, and another 3 points for RGV at home. And I'm pretty sure from what I'm getting the feedback from a lot of the fans is that now on especially on Facebook, because let's be honest, if you guys are on Facebook, you know that a lot of the times the comment section can be so toxic in the RGVFC Facebook page, especially when the team is losing. I know a lot of people that were already calling for Wilmer Cabrera to be sacked, and were calling for Wilmer Jr. to be sacked, like me. But I wasn't being negative. I was like, dude, come on, you got to be better. Like, I really want you to improve, but like I want you to do good. But man, you're not helping me. Well, now he's improving, like I mentioned before. Um, but yeah, now you look at the Facebook page and all those haters and all those people that were hating on the team and calling for somebody's head, nowhere to be seen on Facebook. I rarely comment on Facebook anyway, because I rarely use it. I just share memes on Facebook, right? So I don't usually take my time to comment on Facebook, but we have seen that change in the trend of the overall positivity / negativity of the Facebook comments in these last couple of games, which is good. Obviously when the team is doing good, you got to give them kudos. When the team is doing bad, you got to say, hey, this is not good enough. This is what needs to improve. This is my overall analysis or my thoughts on what needs to be improved. And so far that has been done. I mean, 6 undefeated in the last 6 games. That's not an easy task, to be honest, even considering the situation where we're at, where we lost a lot of our key starting players. Excuse me. Abraham says, where are the haters at? Well, they're probably hiding under a rock, expecting the Toros to stumble down again and say, see, I told you so, kind of thing. I know my people. Costas Titan says, people in the crowd celebrated when Junior got subbed off. Okay. I did not know that. Thank you, Costas, for letting me know. How can you say that Wilmer Jr. or people be happy at this moment of Wilmer Jr. being subbed off when, if you look at his stats, let me pull up the USL website. So I don't know if I can show you. Hold on, let me check. Presentations, article, video, background. I guess not. Anyway, if you look at the USL website and you look at the player stats for RGV, let's take a look. Wilmer Cabrera leads the team in goals with 5 in 18 appearances. We talked about it right now when we were doing the comparison. He has 2 assists, tied for second. He leads the team in shots. He is 4th in chances created with 17. Taylor Davila is the one, just a quick parenthesis. Taylor Davila is way higher than everybody else. He has 41 chances created in 18 appearances. Second place is Gringo Torres with 19, as well as Cristiano Francois. Okay. What else? 18 shots on target, like I said. In this game against Orange County SC, duels won 8. Duels lost 4. please tell me how somebody that knows about the sport, and I'm not saying I know everything about the sport, but somebody that at least has some knowledge about the game, how you can look at this and say that Wilmer Jr. is a terrible player and should be subbed off automatically. I think we're already in consensus that title should be for Cristiano Francois, right? And like I said, we're beating a dead horse. Let's take a look at the others, okay? Let's take a look at the other attackers in this particular game. So we said duels won for Wilmer Jr., 8, duels lost 4. Christian Pinzon, duels won 6, duels lost 5. Frank Lopez, duels won 1, duels lost 3. Ricky Reese, duels won 3, duels lost 2. Cristiano Francois, duels won 3, duels lost 4. Okay? Out on the attack, he only had a shot off target. Okay, Wilmer Jr. Okay, that is understandable. But in the last couple of games, you guys remember against Oakland, how key he was coming in off of the bench. So he's not as terrible as he was in the beginning of the season. And he definitely isn't as terrible as he was when he was here originally back in 2018, 2019, around there. Okay. Christian Pinzon, 1 shot on target, 2 shots off target. Frank Lopez, 0-0. Ricky Reese, 0-0. Cristiano Francois, 0-0. You look at Cristiano Francois' stats: 0 goals, 0 shots, 0 crosses, 0 assists, 0 chances created, 0 offsides. So how can you look at me straight in the eye and say that Junior deserved to be Junior deserved to be cheered that Junior got subbed off? Now, if you tell me that the cheers that they were applauding to Junior for the work that he's been done, okay, I'll accept it. But if you heard people say, qué bueno que lo sacaron, no vale pa pura madre, or that kind of thing, then I question, if they're really watching the game and seeing the statistics of what's going on in the attack and how vital he is as a player right now to the tactics of his father, Wilmer Cabrera Sr. And then, so Costa says it's harsh because he's been doing great lately. But the OC game was not his best performance. Bad shots and lost possession a couple of times. He obviously has a target on his back by being the son of the manager. And I know Wilmer's been saying that he himself said because Wilmer Jr. is his son, he is going to have higher expectations out of him. He's going to be taking it easier now. He has to prove more why he has to be the starter. Why? Because he is the son of Wilmer Cabrera, and of course, when people see that he's getting put in, obviously they're going to say, oh well, he's put in there because he's the son, so kind of thing. Anyway, that's the guy that does my yard. Anyway, so I guess the USA lost. Does that a failure? Yes or no? Put in the chat. Ray says, hola Edson. Hola Ray. ¿Cómo estás? I'm glad you're doing well. Abraham says, I wasn't aware people celebrated Andy getting sub. And then Preach the Word says, we applauded his efforts and anticipated the subs. That makes me feel better, honestly. Makes me feel better that is the case, that it was the fact that you guys were celebrating his performances so far. Because if it was the other one, then it's like I said, I question, some of these fans. Costa says, I thought it was really harsh of them. He's far from terrible. That labor is more deserved for other guys on the roster. That is too. He says, yeah, they basically said what you said in Spanish. They were talking about the um, the fact they said, oh, de qué bueno que lo sacaron kind of thing. Um, Mike says, he says, in the Stampede section, only heard cheering when Francois got out. And then Abraham says, Costas, there's a chance those people aren't fans. Ooh, you're getting on a slippery slope there. As the great Gerson Echeverry once said, no comment. Javier says, not all the subs are for not having their best or worst games. Sometimes it is strategy. That is correct as well, Dad. So anyway, so at the end, RGVC gets the 3 points, 2 more goals, another clean sheet for Tyler Derrick. RGVFC continues to gain confidence, and especially from outside the box shots. You know how key that has been for RGV this season, whether it's Taylor Davila, whether it's Robert Coronado, whether it's even, like I said, Jonathan Ricketts, or Ricky Reese. This season, outside the box shots have been very elemental for RGVSC to get a lot of goals this season, which means that unlike some teams where their main focus is get inside the box or get all the way to the end line and cross it to the box and cross, you know, at least right now, RGV offensively has a lot of variables. Okay, if this doesn't work, then let me try this. Let me try for shooting from outside the box. Let me try 1-2s. Let me try crosses now. Let me try, free kicks. This game, we score by a free kick, and we also score via outside the box shot from Jonathan Ricketts. So that has been my analysis of what we've seen so far. That that variation that's going to keep opposing defenses on their heels, because they know that you can try to focus on one thing, but that RGV will try to find something different to be able to get to find a way to score a goal. At least that's how it is. But coming up, you've got a very, very difficult El Paso coming up, which, by the way, I think, unless I am mistaken, it is still El Paso Locomotive is still defeating. God, I hate that for some reason my default browser in Google Chrome is Yahoo. Paso Locomotive. Oh, actually, they are behind. San Antonio scored 2 goals, and they're now defeating El Paso at Southwest University Park 1-2. So that is very interesting. Now they're going to have a chip on their shoulder on Saturday if this score continues. So Ricketts has been amazing. Wrap him in bubble wrap. Dude, honestly, Ricketts is one of those players that it's very key in that back line. You can not have Ricky, you cannot have Wilmer, you can and have somebody else in those places. But Ricketts, we've already seen that if he's not there, the defense struggles, and offensively they struggle a little bit more as well. So yes, wrap him in bubble wrap it. We have to protect that man at all costs. So anyway, now let's go on to everybody's favorite segment, Quema or no quema. Man, this is going to be a long episode. We're already in an hour. Anyway, we should be fine. So, quema or no quema. I wish we had Jacob on, but I guess he's still a little frustrated about the USMNT. So I'm pretty sure he might not actually be coming on. Anyway, but quema or no quema. First things first. Wilmer Cabrera on the evaluation of the team in the match against Orange County SC. He says, we were solid. I like the concentration and focus of the team the whole 90 minutes. It's something that we've been working on, but also we needed to perform. Today, they played very well against a very tough rival. They're very good moving the ball. They're quick. They're a very dynamic team. I think we're very good. When we passed the half, we created options. We moved the ball. I like the performance, especially because now we have to start pushing to get those points, especially points at home. So, what do you guys think about that? Do you agree? Do you believe it quema or no quema? Wilmer Cabrera's particular thoughts on the game against Orange County SC. For me, I agree. Like I think we mentioned exhaustively all this episode. RGV taking advantage of the circumstances, played very well, took advantage of the opportunities that Orange County allowed them to have. And look who's here, everybody. Jacob is in the house, right on time for spot on, spot off. Kema no kemaka. Jacob, how are you doing, man? What have you been doing these last few weeks that we've been gone? You're muted, or he can't hear you. Hold on. Can y'all hear him? Like I said, this is the first time I've let me see. Do I put him in the system? Hello? Let me audio. Let me see. Audio output system. We'll do chat. No, I can't hear you. Hold on. Let me look at the stream. All right, go ahead and speak, Jacob. No, I cannot hear you at all. Check your sound settings. Go to your settings. Make sure that in audio it's the correct inputs. But anyways, so in the meantime, let's check. So Costless Titan says, I agree. In Wilmer, we trust. If he was in charge of the U.S. men's national team, they wouldn't have lost that banter gold cup. All right, guys, let's hold on there.
Hello now.
There we
Can you
go.
hear me? Okay, yeah, it was on the wrong mic. Yeah, this is the first time I'm using this too for a show like this. Yeah, no, been watching that Gold Cup. Let's see here. Been getting ready for the spa 24 hours. Nothing will stop me. Yes, that means I am not going to work on that Saturday, of course. Why would I? I've been practicing for very, very long. Edson, I need to talk to you about a paint scheme for that if you are willing to do one for Team
of course.
Jacob Young. And yeah,
just
you should also
just give me the template.
Gotcha. You should also get your C license because that would be fun.
Yeah, I think the only thing I need to move on to the next, I need to participate in oval NPRs, NPR races, or time trials.
Buddy, road course. I was talking road course.
I actually started, but I have been terrible. Like I've been spinning out. I did. I think the Delara one today, and there was this particular corner. I kept on spinning out. So yeah,
that's your problem. Mazda CX, best car in the game. Best car.
Yep, it is. It is. I tried how we're going off subject, but yeah, I'll talk to you later about that.
All right.
Show. All right. So we were talking about this whole game in general against Orange County SC. Now I do have to say that the original title for this live stream was going to be the Edson curse is neither created nor destroyed. It just evolves. And you said it yourself.
No, it's true.
Not like I'm putting on you.
No, I did say it, and I think I even tweeted it. And I tried to tweet at JT, but I also need to ask JT, am I banned from the stadium? Because I have not shown up to 2 games. I did this on purpose, by the way. Let me be clear. Besides that, the USA were also playing on that day, and I was not going to go to the game to watch the US in the first place. I knew that. Besides a week back, 2 weeks back, I had work on that Wednesday when they played Colorado.
Yes, Springs? Colorado Springs.
Which is just insane that we beat them, but they are apparently a bit of a dumpster fire right now. Either way, yeah. It has definitely changed because now I have not been at the stadium for 2 games. They have won both the home games. I've been at every home game since then, or before then. They lost every home game. They came back, New Mexico United, that famous game. They won, or what basically felt like a win at that time for New Mexico United, winning 2 or getting a point 2-2, stealing a point.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's definitely evolved and it's gone to me. I'm sure Edson was at the last. Oh wait, no, you weren't at the last game, Edson.
I was at Colorado though.
You were at Colorado, so yeah, yeah. So the Edson curse, we all know, has kind of been broken. Um, but yeah, just unfortunate. But what can you do? But support from literally home until they lose at home, which I am desperately rooting for that to happen for next game. Hear me out so that I can be back at the stadium and watch them actually win. But then again, do I really want this team to win? I don't know, because I don't also really want them to pass eighth place because they look dangerous, and I am scared to try that hot shot challenge too.
Oh, that's wait. Yeah, okay. We have to give them context because I don't think we've ever I don't think you've ever mentioned that on this show, right?
No,
So
I only tweeted it because we have been off for a minute, a hot minute for sure. And as we just said it, yes, if this team finishes 7th or better, that means above the last place, 8th place. If they finish 7th or better, I am going to buy that hot shot. If it's sold, I mean, I'm sure I can find it on Amazon and buy it pretty quickly. Yeah, I will drink that hot shot and see if that taste is actually bad. Let me be more clear. Let me cramp up first and then drink it and see if I act like Alyssa Thompson.
so
There he is.
Abraham says maybe it's Jacob with the bad vibes that they've been losing.
Yeah, that would be crazy. Bad vibes for sure. Yeah. I don't know.
And then Costa says Jacob can watch the game from the top of the hills at hole 10 at Lagos.
Maybe. Maybe. Hey,
What
Santos, I need the key to the whole 10.
all of a sudden, like we turn around towards Los Lagos and we see a bunch of cops in the middle of in the middle of the golf course, and we'll know exactly what is going on. That is all. That is all, Jacob. But anyway, so we talked about we kind of talked ad nauseum about the game against Orange County, but I just want to get your thoughts on what you thought about the game and how RGV has kind of improved in the last couple of weeks.
It was shocking. I mean, this team looked really well. It was crazy. So I was watching it in my room. I have double monitor. I have the Toros game on one. I had the U.S. game on the other. Switch back and forth from that and the Mickey Mouse win from Atlanta. We won't talk about NASCAR, but that's what I was watching. And so yeah, I was keeping track of it, and it was impressive play from what I could tell. It didn't really look like there were a lot of things wrong. Yes, of course, in soccer as a coach, you're going to be a perfectionist. So there were definitely things that were wrong from the look of things for RGVFC, but for the most part, the good outshined the bad on the field. And I was very impressed. Jonathan Ricketts getting a good shot that was powerful to beat the keeper, too. The keeper kind of got a piece on it, but he was able to pass by. That was, of course, goal number 2. And even goal number 1, very impressive. Just things are looking up, and it's phenomenal. This team is hitting their summer stride. Normally, we say this team is not hitting their summer stride, and they are in that summer slump. No, this team had a spring slump, and for some strange reason have gotten everybody just about healthy 100%. And you have Galindres coming off the bench looking all right, helping out this team. Jonathan Ricketts back to 100% is what it seems like. I know he's struggled somewhat. I mean, not necessarily, but he's been out there and doing well. I mean, he looks good. They look good. Tyler Derrick back behind goal looks great too. That experiment behind goal is done from Wilmer Cabrera's point of view. Everything. It's just, yeah. I mean, it's true. This team seems good. Even Tyler Derrick. I know Abraham Moreno's making a joke in comments, but it's true. Tyler Derrick at the start is like, were not in sync at all. This was one of the first games. I remember his press conference. We're not in sync. This is a big learning curve for all this team. And all of a
Mhm.
sudden, what is this? They look in sync. They know each other's path. Francois looks good. I know it was only supposed to go quickly. I used the word good, Edson. To me, good is like brilliant in British terms. Okay. Not amazing, but he looks good. He is being outshined, but has helped out too. So,
Cosmo says, I bet Edson can make Jacob say a good thing about Puma.
yeah, and then Puma still getting yellow cards and kind of fouling a bit is just that's the only downside. But again, I don't know. He can be good. He can be a leader if smart.
He is. He's doing. I honestly think he's doing good. We talked about it a little while ago. Puma is doing a whole lot better. Cristiano Francois, oh man, for the love of all that is holy, I cannot understand why he's still a starter. But
So
we're,
Christian
we're
Francois is Puma Pimentel for me. I get it. So
yeah,
Christian Francois is for Edson.
yes,
Okay, well let's just not completely just pound on those two because we will get thrown something at us when we return to media.
yeah. Wow, wow, Abraham. Damn, Jacob and I are the only ones on the Francois fan club. Oh, you got a friend in Costless, Jacob. So,
Yeah.
all right. So real quick, let's go ahead and finish this off in probably about 30 minutes anyway. But okay, so we were starting the spot on, spot off, Jacob, and we were talking about Wilmer Cabrera's post game press conference remarks of the game against Orange County. He says we were solid. I like the concentration of the team in the whole 90 minutes. We've been working on that, but we also needed to perform. And we talked about it in a couple episodes ago where we said, I know they're working on shots. I know they're working on this and we're working on that. Well, what is it? Why is it that when it comes to showtime and actually in the game, especially at home, they just aren't able to perform, So that kind of thing. It says today they played very well against a very tough rival. They're good at moving the ball, yada, yada, yada. I like the performance, especially because now we have to start pushing to get those points, especially points at home. Yeah. Spot on, spot off.
I'd say for the most part, it's spot on. I mean, yeah, they're playing well at home now. And again, what I said before, this team is just in stride, and they just feel good right now. They have good vibes. This team seems in sync, like I said before. And why now? Because I mean, Wilmer said it before. They weren't 100%. So it's just I don't know. For the most part, it's spot on. They're gonna push because they need to make the playoffs. So if he's asking a question about it, then it's
Yeah. Okay, so I think overall, from what I saw in chat, from what you're talking about, I think we're pretty much in agreement with Wilmer Cabrera. Now, here's a doozy, guys. Everybody in the chat. Here's a doozy. I'm sorry to everybody in the Orange and Black Soccer Cast. You guys have been great friends to us. You guys have been.
I knew this was coming.
You guys have been very supportive of our show. But in this week's episode, in their analysis of this game against us, they argue that the referee did not call a foul on Frank Lopez in the 68th minute, which led to the ensuing corner kick where Ochoa scores. Our friend Ray Zamora mentioned from that point of the no call on, it's a corner or two and RGV is on the board. And it just sort of takes what Orange County built in the second half, the first 5-10 minutes of the second half, and just unravels it. Jacob, quema or no quema ka?
Spot off. let me tell you something. And Wilmer Cabrera even broke broke down one time in the press conference too. One of our press conferences saying the referees at home are out to get this team. So whether or not it was a foul or not, this team never gets those types of no calls, whether or not it was a foul. Now, was it a foul then? No, it was not. I've looked at it a couple of times, sure. But if I were to look at it again, I'd see no true contact. There was no way. If you want to call that a foul, guess what? The Trinity Rodman goal against Wales, that was a foul then against her. So it's just, yeah, I got something for Ray Samora. Yeah, no foul, buddy. No foul. Orange and Black Soccer Cast. I saw that title and I was like, oh my gosh, it's like reading one of the guys tweets on there that follow me from not from Saturday, but when we play San Diego. I think it's Andy something. I forget his name, but point is, no, he's spot off. And also, again, even if it was, this team rarely gets those no calls where it benefits RGV FC, and they get those calls against them 9 times out of 10. And Warwick Cabrera has to be so happy that even if it was a foul, that was not called against them, because the referees at home for a home team are apparently, and this is of course paraphrasing, but from what it sounds like from Wilmer Cabrera and everybody, that it's supposed to help you. So yeah, absolutely crazy.
Titan says, I want to get Titan on the back, but I'm not sure they will allow number 69. They do. There's somebody in the Stampede that has number 69. So that is not going to be an issue. No,
where's Alprez
Santos,
when we
Santos.
Oh, Santos. Yeah, that's right.
Santos has 69.
I forget what Michael has on the back of his.
The Michael is El Perez, but I think 24. I think
24. That probably makes sense. It's his number.
Yeah. So
like if I were to have a personal one, it would be 77 on the back.
Yep. Young 77. Ray, not you, Ray Silva. Ray Samora. I appreciate you. You're good. You've been a good friend of the podcast, but damn it, I am completely spot off what you're saying. And I'm not focusing on whether it's or it's not a foul. I'm focusing on the second half on your statement where it says that the no call unraveled Orange County plan in the second half and made them lose it. Ray, you guys had your shots only 6 minutes after the second half. From then on, you had nothing, which was, let's say, in the 51st minute, you stopped creating chances. The goal didn't happen until the 69th minute. So you had 18 minutes where your team was not generating anything. So I completely disagree that you're saying that this no call affected Orange County. Orange County was already down on the floor before that. So whether it was a no call or they called it or not, I think RGV eventually was going to get the goal anyway. So you cannot blame this no call for saying that, oh, Orange County didn't have any other more opportunities, that they could have had an opportunity to win because of this no call. That is I'm completely spot off on that particular statement from the Orange and Black Soccer Cast. And I think a lot of I think it was Dylan and I think it was also Brad Polonsky on there. And even then they were like, they weren't really 100% with Ray on that. So like I said, I appreciate you, man, but man, it's completely spot off. And I hate putting you on the spot because I know you've been good. You've been good to us, but man, we just had to say it because that was
literally the title of their show too. So
yeah, I will say because like I said, last week I was on their show and the fans that were on the chat overall, they were like, oh, Orange County is going to win this game easily. We're on a roll. Like we have been getting, shutouts for I don't know how many last games. RGV is going to have nothing to account for to be able to beat us. And I was the only one that said 2-0. 2-0 RGV is going to win. And they're like, what? What are you talking about? Orange County is going to win 2-1. Orange County doesn't win 2-0 because of this, because of Tomas Among and this and that. Where is that Orange County?
Yeah.
And like I said, you cannot blame the whole situation with the flights, because we had that situation last year against Charleston, and we still got the 3 points,
Yeah. And also another thing as well, you mentioned being on Orange and Black Soccer Cast and them saying that they're going to win. I remember I was back a bit ago, for sure. Back when I was on their show a couple of times, helping you out, Edson.
Mm-hmm.
Both times they were like, they said Orange County will win. Everyone said Orange County would win. I might have even gone in and just said Orange County would win just for the fun of it. But that was, again, the game happens that weekend. What happens? RGV FC are the victor. We might not be invited back to their show ever again, because it seems like every single time we're invited, whether it's you or I, RGV FC end up winning that weekend. It's very strange.
That's actually pretty funny right there. But yeah, that is very true. So I guess we're not going to be expecting an invitation anytime soon if they want Orange County to win. Because yeah, that last game, none of us were invited, and Orange County won. So I guess it is what it is. But guys, anybody else think you got anything to say about that? Because like I said, they were really like high on, oh yeah, our Orange County is going to win easily, and nope, did not happen. But I will say this, I do want to give a huge thanks to them, because they held their end of the charity bet that we had. It was between me and Ray, and everybody, which was whoever lost this game between RGV and Orange County would donate $20 to the winner's charity of their choice. And obviously RGV won. My charity of choice was the RGV Food Bank. And in this episode, Ray did mention he is not going to pay $20. He is going to pay $40. He's going to double the accepted amount to the RGV Food Bank, and is inviting all of his fans who listen to the show and the other hosts to donate to the RGV Food Bank as well, to help out the people here in the Rio Grande Valley after this victory by the Toros. So huge applause to the guys at the OCSC Soccer Cast for holding their end of the deal and even going above and beyond it. So huge thank you from our hearts, from everybody here in the Rio Grande Valley. So, but anyway, real quick before we go, RGV is going to El Paso this weekend, gonna play against El Paso Locomotive at Southwest University Park, another baseball field. Jacob, what are you thinking? Because I think right now El Paso Locomotive
they're playing against San Antonio, right?
And they're losing 2-1.
And they're at home, if I'm not mistaken, too, at that baseball field.
Mm-hmm.
Which is crazy that you can play baseball on a soccer field. And at first, yes, I stole it from somebody else who tweeted that at me when I was working on Wednesday. Funny enough. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting game for sure, because you're back to the West Coast, or you're back to mountain time, basically. You're back to thinner air in a sense. Definitely, I mean, I'd expect a draw for sure. It's just you're on the road. A draw would be fine. A win would be extraordinary. This team has enough rest, and the way that they've been playing, I think still we have yet to see their peak of performance. Especially, like I said, Francois is good. He's not amazing. He's not great yet. So, with that being said, maybe that's his game to shine and completely just maybe if RGVFC find themselves down by 2 goals, he comes back and he scores a brace himself, or he helps out with an assist, something of that sort. And like I said, multiple players coming back and just uniting like they have. It's going to be a fun match to definitely watch, but it's going to be a very difficult one for RGVFC to just come away with a victory in general. But I think that they can do it, and more than anything, get a tie.
So a couple of things that we need to keep in mind about El Paso Locomotive. Under Brian Clairhall, obviously they're doing much better than originally anticipated. They are at home. They have 4 wins, four losses and 1 draw, if I'm reading this correctly. Okay, let me look real quick. So they have at home. They lost against Sacramento Republic. They lost against Colorado Springs, and then they lost against Detroit City FC. Those were all the first 3 matches, right? And then they defeated Orange County, defeated Pittsburgh Riverhounds, defeated Loudoun United, defeated Las Vegas Lights, tied against Tampa Bay Rowdies, lost against New Mexico United, and now they've lost against San Antonio FC. So surprisingly, Southwest University Park has not been the fortress that it used to be for El Paso Locomotive. So there could be an opportunity for RGV to continue their unbeaten streak, to continue to also put in another, clear, smash of the table, to the rest of the USL, that, hey, the Toros are going to be a force to be reckoned with, and we are not, like Cell said in Dragon Ball Z, this isn't even my final form. So this is a clear opportunity for that to happen, honestly. Let me see what else. Now, keep in mind that they do have Lucho Solignac, who has been a headache for RGV whenever he's played against us, whether it's against San Antonio or whether when he was in San Antonio or when he's been with El Paso Locomotive. So he is a force to be reckoned with. He's coming in with 8 goals in 16 appearances. As far as assists, you've got Eder Borelli, Ricardo Zacarias, Eric Calvillo, and Denis Costashine with 2 assists each. But yeah, real quick, Jacob, what is your prediction?
I think I'm kind of going to go with the original one. What I was thinking of. I'm going to say 2-2. 2-2 draw.
Okay, I'm going to go with. I think I'm also going to. I think I'm going to go with the 1-1. Because it is going to be difficult with the reduced dimensions of the baseball field. We have won at Southwest University Park before, but I think I'm going to be conservative on my prediction. I think 1-1 would be a fair prediction on my end. We've got Mike says tough game, but I think RGV pulls it off 3-1. And then it's going to be a good game. This is Abraham Moreno says it's going to be a good game. I say a 2-1 win. And he says that is if the Toros fly out. Because if they drive, yikes, 0-1 loss. Yeah, they did that before during COVID. Exactly. They swear they're never going to do that again.
Oh, it was like their first. I remember Jerson saying something like it was their first ever time to go there, and they decided to drive. And they said never again. It's just, yeah. You don't want to ever drive down here to El Paso, where it's literally will take you a 2-day drive. If you're smart, if you want to knock it out in one day, go ahead and drive 12 hours at least. It's probably more than that, but yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to say so for sure. So I don't know, but we'll see what happens. Should be a great matchup. I mean, it's a baseball field. RGV FC haven't really done well at baseball fields before. They can't even really win at Isotopes Park. But who knows for that. But again, RGV FC are at the peak of their game, just about, which is the crazier part, Edson, because I don't know. This team has never looked better.
And of course, real quick, bold prediction from Mike, 4-0 with a red card to the El Paso coach. I think my bold prediction, I'm going to go with 3-0 RGV. Jacob?